So how did these assets actually get there? The portal operates an off-chain order book that allows everyone to place their offerings, assets that they're willing to engage in. Since we're looking at debt instruments here at the moment, that means all kinds of lending instruments. People are looking at borrowing funds or investing in loans. So if you're looking at borrowing funds, you can filter the order book here, and you'll find the list of offerings that people are willing to lend, to give out loans. So you'll find all kinds of buyer products here. On the other hand, if you're looking at lending funds, then you look at all the offerings of people who actually need to take out a loan. And you'll find all the seller products here. Well, let's look at one of those instruments. Maybe this one here, a 12-month bond. If we select the instrument, we'll find again on the right-hand side all the details that are relevant for that instrument, and for me to make up my mind whether that's an interesting investment opportunity or not. So what I'll find again up here, the product label, a product description, then again a link to the ACTUS contract type, the ACTUS classification of instruments, the address of the issuer, and here I'd be able to take the offer if that sounds interesting to me. Now you'll see already here that we actually have to be connected with our wallet to the portal in order to be able to take an offer. That is because indicating that I'm willing to take the offer, I would be signing the offer with my key. So I have to be connected with my wallet, and that is where you'll find the warning here that we are currently not connected. Well, for now that's okay. We just browse through the details, and what we find again, as in the Asset Explorer, some key information up here. So a notional amount that I would be investing in is 470 DAIs, the US dollar stablecoin. We find an interest rate of 7.4%. The borrower is willing to pay, and interest being paid every half year. Maturity is 1 year in the future, starting at the 1st of December 2019. So then, given the half-year payment cycle of interest, we find the schedule of the asset. After I would be paying the initial amount to the borrower, he would be paying back every half year an interest portion, which actually results in 2 interest payments, one in the middle of the lifetime of the bond, and another one at the end of the lifetime. So you see down here, it's actually not a time scale, the x-axis here, but those 2 times are at the exact same date. So at maturity, the amount would be repaid, and I would get a second interest portion. Then down here, again, you'll find the full term sheet, which is a very important piece of information, because it allows you actually to, for instance, to plug it into your pricing engine, which gives you a price for the investment opportunity, and that helps you making up your mind of whether that sounds interesting to you or not. So all that information here is really critical for me to understand the asset, and as we said before, to know my asset, or the asset that I'm looking at investing in. So those are existing offerings that I can invest in, or according to which I can actually take out the loan. Then here I have the ability to actually create my own offering. So I might be in need of funds. I'm looking at investing in an opportunity. This is what I can do right here in creating an offer, which is then added to the offer book. Again, I will be in need of connecting my wallet to the portal, because I have to sign the offer before I can send it to the offer book. But let's first just look at one of the instruments here. We may be looking at the 12-month bond. So what I find on the right-hand side here is all the information that I have to provide in order to fully specify the offering. The product says already it's a 12-month bond, so maturity is fixed, it's 12 months. It's a bond, which means it's a bullet type instrument, so a PAM, principal at maturity instrument. And what is actually left for me to define in the minimum is when should the asset start, what is the start of the lifetime of the asset, when will the initial payment be exchanged, initial exchange date here, what is the principal of the amount of the instrument. So let's say we look at 500 dies to invest in, and then what's the interest rate that I'm willing to invest at, and let's say we look at 7.1 percentages. If I want to customize the product more, I always have access to the full term sheet here, where I get to define all kinds of other features and activate other features of that instrument. For us now, it's okay just using the standard product template. I can then preview the offer, which will give me again the main features of the offering of the asset. It gives me also a schedule of the asset given my inputs that I have defined. So we look at the 12-month bond, monthly interest payments of 7.1 percentages here. Again, I can look at the full term sheet down here and check whether the details are really the ones that I've entered before. If that all is correct, I would then place the offer up here. Again, as indicated before, need to be connected with my wallet if I want to do that. So for the sake of people who don't have a MetaMask wallet installed, don't want to do that right now, we will just continue for the moment without that, and then come back here once we have connected our wallet. Well, I can look at all kinds of other product definitions here. Bear in mind, the product in our language is just a template of an ACTUS contract type that has been pre-configured. So I always have access also to the raw ACTUS contract types here. For instance, the principal at maturity, which is just a bullet type loan, and can configure the product or my offering from here directly. Obviously, I will have to make sure that all the relevant information is there, because there is nothing pre-configured here. But I have the possibility if I wish to do that. Well, that is the offering view of the portal. And as we said before, in order to take that demo to the next level, let's connect now with our MetaMask wallet and actually issue one offering. So I have installed MetaMask here already. Need to type in my password. And there we go. Just make sure that we are connected to the Girly testnet, because this is where we have our smart contracts deployed on. So you see, I have an account here that identifies me as Bob, and as Bob I'm going ahead now and creating an offering. So let's again take the buyer 12-month bond instrument here. I just keep whatever suggested up here for the initial exchange date of the instrument. Type in again 500 notional principal, and an interest rate of 7.1 percentages. I'm not interested in altering any further information down here in the term sheet. I just keep that as the product, configured it. Let's preview the offer. Get to see all the key information up here. Get to see the schedule of the instrument, 12 months, lifetime, monthly interest payments, and then here below the term sheet, which is correct. So now let me place the offer. In order to place the offer and add it to the offering book, I sign the offer, which indicates to our offering book and ultimately the smart contracts, and to everybody else that I'm giving my consent to that offering here, and that I'm willing to issue that asset if someone else is actually willing to take it. So going back to the offering book here, now my offering has been added. You see it up here in the top of the list, has been added to the offering book, and is waiting now for anyone else to look at it and take it. And as soon as someone else takes the offering, it's being issued and it's being shown in the asset list. So for the purpose of demoing that here, I'll just select another account that I have here. Let's choose Alice maybe. Alice is looking at all the offerings here. So she looks at actually borrowing funds. So that is where she gets to see these offerings that have been created, and as part of that she gets to see the offering that I created just before, the buyer 12-month bond here. You see here there is a little break in the list here that indicates what are the offerings that I have created myself and what are the offerings that someone else has created. So down here in the list of offerings from others, I see now the offering of Bob. Check it out. So I'm Alice here at the moment, connected with Alice's wallet, looking at Bob's offering, and it seems very interesting to me. 7.1% interest rate on a US dollar amount of 500, monthly repayments. The schedule looks good. That sounds interesting, so I'm really willing to take that offer. Since I'm connected with my wallet now, with Alice's wallet, I can just take the offer, sign the offer, which then sends it back to the order book. And now the order book checks, signed by both parties, sends it to the asset issuer. The asset issuer, which is a smart contract on the testnet, validates the signatures, and then, as you can see down here, messages popping up, it issues the asset, and the asset is being added to the asset list. We have to wait a little while until we see it here in the asset list. Remember, it was a buyer 12-month bond, 500 DAI nominal value, and 7.1% interest rate. So let's just check out whether we find it here. Update the asset list, and now here you see it on top of the asset list, the first asset. This is the asset that we have just issued now. So now the lifetime of that asset started, and we are looking at servicing the asset throughout its entire lifetime.